is on. Walk sign is on. Walk sign.
She wants one when you get
Good morning, West Hartford. Good morning and welcome. This is the Memorial Day Parade. My name is Chris Prentice, and we're kicking things off right now. Looks like the police escort, just on the bicycle right now, riding the bike, staying healthy. I love it. Thank you for joining us here on WHCI and our coverage of today's parade. You know, the weather is threatening to make this, you know, a kind of a wet time, but we're still out here. If you can look down the road there, all of West Hartford is out. You can see them lining the road all the way down Farmington Avenue here. I'm looking to my left. There's over by the town hall. There's another group of folks over there. Everybody's out. Nobody's afraid of a little water. Not the West Hartford Exchange Club, because they're coming down the lane right now. It's lovely to see this. Very high. If you couldn't tell, everybody's still out here to have a good time. Everybody's still loving it. So once again, thank you for joining us in our coverage of today's Memorial Day Parade. It is May 2024, May 27th, and we're all out here. I do hear some music coming down the line. We'll figure out what that is in a little bit. I was worried we wouldn't hear any music. A lot of our marchers decided they didn't want to get their trumpets wet, and that's understandable. I get that. How's it going? Thank you, sir. I just got me a little mini flag, guys. My day's been made. Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day.
There's the music. If we can't have a marching band, we'll put it on the back of the truck. We'll listen to the national anthem right here. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. As you can see, yeah, down the lane there, looking down South Main Street, a lot of strollers out, a lot of families out, people just playing around, having a good time. Energy is still high. Everyone's excited. So I keep trying to get into it, but I'm going to do it now. Thank you for joining us here on WHCI. We really do appreciate your viewership. If you want to do us and yourself a little favor, you can hit that subscribe button, and you can be notified when we go live with events like this. We've got Celebrate West Hartford coming up in a few weeks. We'll be out for that. We've got a few of our emergency service workers out doing their job. The work doesn't stop because it's Memorial Day. I have the day off, but more important duties need to be attended to, so thank you to them for that as well. Hey, West Hartford, how's it going? How you doing? But you want to hit that subscribe button. You'll be notified when we do this, when we do Celebrate, when we come out for that. If you don't know, we've got a summer camp coming up, Be the Media Summer Camp. If you're interested, you've got some young ones who are interested in maybe digital media, learning to edit, learning for script writing, or maybe Foley art. Any of the production elements that go into making a film. It'd be a good thing to check out going over to the Leisure Services page of the town website. You can find us there, and you can figure out what camp fits your kids' needs, wants, desires. Give them something to do for the summer, something to show for their summer. I know I did it last year and the year before. It's really exciting to see the kids come away with a film that they've made themselves that they can show off to friends and family. It's really fun. It's a good time. And some interesting skills are learned as well. You know, use of technology and creative mind and all that. So check us out there. Check out all that we're doing here on WHCI on YouTube. This is always a great day. I have my brother-in-law is a veteran, and I asked him what this day means to him, and he goes into stories of people he remembers and sacrifices given and, you know, honorable servicemen and women who loved this country and their actions showed it. So it's an important day for us all to take. It's not just a day off work, it's an important day for us to remember what others have done for us. The people who made the ultimate sacrifice. You know, they say all gave some, but some gave all. And this is a day to remember those who gave all. Quick shout out to the American Legion of Hayes Village, Unit 96 here in West Hartford, celebrating 100 years. Been around a long time, supporting the community and being a part of the community. I see them around at lots of events, giving back and being a part of West Hartford affairs, being present. Lovely. You love to see it when your heroes come back home and they stay heroes right here in the neighborhood. It's a vocal doggy. He loves his country. He's speaking up. That's right. USA. That's what I say. He's saying it in dog speak, but you can interpret. Mm-hmm. Looks like we've got a crew forming down the lane here. A bit of a different parade today, but a parade nonetheless. I see our protectors, our West Hartford PD. It looks like they're forming up. We'll have them march by in a little bit. Our brothers and sisters and cousins who protect us day to day. Well, we've got a moment, and I know I said that my marching orders had changed. A lot of the marchers weren't able to make it out. As now the rain does begin to pick up just a bit, the crowd does not thin at all. Just to let you know, they're out here blowing bubbles and playing with balloons. They're not upset at all. But I thought we could give honor to those to whom the day is dedicated. The King Philip Middle School Marching Band would have been here marching and playing their beautiful tunes in honor of Mr. Jim Cayley, Morgan Ruckert, Ira Samberg, Joseph Brody, Al Rosenfeld, Paul Vicenius, Art Yepes, Tom LaPointe, Nick Alavasky, Adam Alovsky, Egypt Oliver, and Vincent Sullivan. So we still want to make sure we honor our heroes. Don't want to forget what this day is for. Because now it looks like it's definitely the police. I see a fire engine down there as well. Let's see. Let me see if I can peek down my list. So this might be the police cruiser escort in combination with the fire color guard and chiefs, the police color guard and chiefs, the police Bearcat vehicle. They're all honoring Officer Peter Kalis of the Army. As they make their way down Farmington Avenue towards us here on Main Street. We're right at that corner. So this is your police escort here. The police Bearcat vehicle. The police color guard and chiefs. Right behind the police would be the fire color guard and chiefs. And here they are. They're honoring U.S. Army Captain Eric Thomas Paliwoda. He was killed in action on January 2nd back in 2004 in Iraq. Eric graduated from Conard High School in 1993 as an All-State and All-American honored basketball player. Paying homage to him. From the fire engines and the shift commander vehicle. So we just saw shift commander go right past us. Here are the fire engines. Engine number 2, engine number 4. I see some young ones. I see some young ones sitting in those trucks. That's got to be a good time. Some elementary school aged memories of the time you rode in the fire engine in the Memorial Day parade. That's got to be a good time. Following our very, very brave West Hartford Fire Department and Police Department would be our very, very, very brave school crossing guards. They're out there every day. I don't know if you guys know. It's kind of a thankless job, but you're ensuring the safety of hundreds of kids every day. and they do a great job of it. So let's give them their due as well. They're here honoring Mr. Ken Hungerford and Tony Mpoko. Grand Marshal U.S. Army Colonel Mike Cabry. Oh, we got a list of big names. Lieutenant Governor Susan Bisowitz. State Senator Derek Slapp. State Representative Kate Farrar, Jillian Gilchrist, and Tammy Exum. We got the entire West Hartford Town Council. The West Hartford Board of Education also honoring Paul Vicinis. There's a town manager here, Mr. Ledwith. I mentioned before, Hayes Village American Legion Post 96. 100 years. 100 years. Here's their banner, being brought out by Jacob Mooney and Zander Boss. Jacob is an Eagle Scout. Zander is a Life Scout. Zander will be playing violin solo and taps on the bugle at our ceremony a little bit later on. The American Legion Color Guard now. American Legion Hayes Village Post 96 members and all veterans. They're honoring Waldo Hayes and Francis Village and all veterans. Dan Fine with Ben Cooper is here. Commission on Veteran Affairs is here. And now we got some fancy rides. We got some fancy rides rolling through. Check him out. The rain's coming down. He's still got the top down. He doesn't mind. There's Ben Cooper, a World War II veteran. Andrew held in his 1972 orange VW Beetle. That section of the parade was honoring Andrew Held's son, who's currently serving as a Navy officer. His brother served in the U.S. Army in Germany, his grandfather, who served in the Army in World War II, and his two uncles, who served in the U.S. Army during the Korean War. Here comes Cub Scout Pack 161 from Duffy School. Waving the flags, waving the hands, so everybody's all smiles out here. Got some members of CERT, making sure everybody's happy and protected. That's the Community Emergency Response Team. They're all volunteers. If you're looking to get involved with something and make an impact on the ground level, take a look at CERT. And here comes Cub Scout Pack number 148 from Northfelt and Aiken schools. Honoring Larry Boyer, Robert Barrett, Salvador Cotto, John Knapp, Frank Mitchell, Henry Parsons, Guido Morano, and Elizabeth Morano. Right behind them is Cub Scout Pack number 145 from Bugby School. They're honoring Army Specialist Philip C.S. Schiller. Daughters of the American Revolution, the Sarah Whitman Hooker chapter, now making their way down Farmington. Here comes Dog Star Rescue. and Dog Star for veterans. Dog Star is honoring Jack Rothman. This is probably one of the cutest parts of the parade, I gotta say. I know we just saw a bunch of Boy Scouts and these dogs. One of them just came up and sniffed my leg. It's great. Guys, if you're not out here, you still have time. The parade's still rolling. We're right out here on Farmington and Main Street. Run on down, join the parade. The festivities are still on. It's a little drizzle. Bring an umbrella. It's fine. Here comes the bark bus from Dog Star Rescue. I can hear some barking. Definitely hear some barking coming out of that bus. It's exactly what it says on the label. But as you can see, there's lots of opportunities to get involved. Adopt, volunteer, donate. Take a look at Dog Star Rescue. You can also take a look at our next marchers, the West Hartford, Connecticut Knights of Columbus. They're honoring Vincent Vu. This is the Knights of Columbus of St. Bridget Council. Honoring Vincent Vu. There he is. Vietnam vet and prisoner of war. He's here. He's back. He made it home. The Knights of Columbus thanks our troops, supports our veterans, and remembers our fallen heroes. Right about here, we would have the Bristow Middle School Marching Band, but I get it. You don't want water in your sax. You don't want rain clogging up your clarinet. I totally understand. But they would be marching in honor of Mr. Paul Hunningham of the U.S. Navy. We can still give him his due. Here are the Girl Scouts of Connecticut. Their honor guard and dancing cookies. They're honoring U.S. Navy Sergeant Clinton Berger and U.S. Navy Ensign Grace Forish. Girl Scout troop out of Charter Oak and Smith honoring Marine Lance Corporal Lawrence Philippon. Let me turn this mic their way. Hold on. They're going to shout a little louder because they're the mighty, mighty Girl Scouts. We got a whole row of mighty, mighty Girl Scouts coming down Farmington Avenue on this wonderful Memorial Day. There's Daisy Troop 10463, Aiken, Bugby, Morley. Morley Troop number 10478. They've all got their sashes, they've got their badges. Hard work on display there. The Braeburn Junior Scouts, number 10457. Braeburn Troop 10450, 10453. That's right, ladies. Hold it so they can see. I love it. So much energy coming out of these young ones right now. They're so excited. Dancing in the streets. They're dancing in the streets. Singing in the rain, if you would. Here comes Walcott Daisy Troop, number 10496. All these Girl Scout troops aren't just marching for nothing. They're honoring retired Captain Mark Giametto of the U.S. Army. He's a Purple Heart recipient. They're honoring James Campbell, a captain in the U.S. Navy from World War II. They're honoring Brownie's second lieutenant. Excuse me, the Brownies are honoring Second Lieutenant Michael Quinn. They're also honoring Lieutenant Robert Tyler Coughlin. They're so excited. As well they should be. Walcott Troop number 10414, Bugby Troop number 10487. They got their banners. I wonder if they got the cookies. I think we missed Girl Scout cookie season, right? Didn't that already pass? I think we did that already. About this time, we'd have seen the Sedgwick Middle School Band, which I can tell you on my personal account is fantastic. They'd be honoring Mr. Chris Bombara. But now we do see the Special Olympics West Hartford. They're honoring veteran parents and grandparents of Special Olympic West Hartford athletes, school teachers, and U.S. Navy veteran. Socceropolis right now, honoring U.S. Marine Corps veterans. Big crew for Socceropolis. I love it. And down the road there, looks like we're seeing a performance from the Sedgwick step team. The Sedgwick step team now giving a little bit of a show to the folks. Just a quick 1, 2, 3 there. They're honoring James Aaron McDaniel of the U.S. Army. Oh, we're going to get another show. Here it is, the Sedgwick Middle School step team. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sedgwick Middle School step team. That was fantastic. They're bringing the energy. They're bringing the energy. I didn't expect to see that. I'm glad I did, though. West Hartford Youth Baseball coming down the road right now. Big crew for them as well, coming on scooters, bringing the dogs in uniform. They're honoring Ken Hungerford. That's West Hartford Youth Baseball, honoring Ken Hungerford. Looks like we've got at least 4 or 5 entire teams out here marching in the rain and excited about it. West Hartford Youth Baseball, look at them. All smiles. All energy. It's time to go nuts. Yeah, they're excited. They're so excited they don't know what to do with themselves. Right behind West Hartford Youth Baseball, that's going to be West Hartford Little League, and they're honoring Albert S. Franklin of the U.S. Navy. He contributed to our nation's defense in World War II. We've got West Hartford Little League Orioles, the T-ball team. We've got West Hartford Youth Wrestling, the Fisher Cats, coming down the road here as well. I see the Pirates, I see the Padres, I see the Mariners, I see the Athletics, I see the Rockies, I see the Tigers, I see the Giants. They're all out here. The Dodgers, the Cubs. Every squad is out here. This is awesome. There's those Fisher Cats I was mentioning. That's West Hartford Youth Wrestling. And a regular appearance at pretty much every West Hartford event. The Friends of Feeney making their way down Farmington Avenue right now. Friends of Feeney Inc. honoring Sergeant Karen Taylor. We got a big float here from Friends of Feeney. And they're sporting their usual phrase, One way, I don't think anybody can disagree with this. Be a good friend. That's it. Be a good friend. Everybody needs friends. Helps if they're good ones. Be a good friend.
Free pizza, be a good friend.
Free pizza. They're being good friends to me right now. Friends of Feeney. Join us after the parade. Post-parade party at Luna Pizza. Free slice with a donation to Friends of Feeney. Today only. Friends of Feeney and Luna Pizza joining hands, being good friends to all of West Hartford and offering a free slice of pizza as long as you give just a little donation to Friends of Feeney. Today only. You can do it today and today only, right at the end of this parade. Yet another reason to come out despite the rain. I tell you, it's rained a little bit. It's fine. It's fine. We're good. We're doing just fine. The ground is dampened, but our spirits are not. Because the Human Rights Commission is here. They're coming down the lane as well. They're honoring Kristen Sowell and Michael Zakia. West Hartford Girls Softball League. There's the rookie division. There's the training division as we see all the different levels of the girls softball league here in West Hartford. Clearly they support the young ladies from the time where they can first swing the bat and throw the ball all the way up, training those skills, teaching them the fundamentals of the game. And then they also get to do fun stuff like march in the Memorial Day Parade, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. Again, West Hartford Girls Softball League honoring Ken Hungerford. And now we see the majors division, like I was saying. They start them out at preschool age. And here they are, middle and high school age. Hit the ball out there so we can win this game. That's the fundamentals of any softball game, I'd say. They got it locked in. They made a whole song about it. Here comes West Hartford Girls Lacrosse. They are honoring U.S. Marine Corps Captain Connor Tracy, who is currently coaching West Hartford Girls Lacrosse. The work never stops. The giving never stops. The selflessness seems endless. Here comes the West Hartford Girls Soccer League. Such a colorful crew coming through right now. All smiles. Pom pom. Oh wait, we got more chanting. They love soccer. West Hartford Girls Soccer League honoring Paul Glover. West Hartford Youth Soccer Association. That'd be the Co-Ed League, the Youth Soccer Co-Ed League, honoring Saba Jack Fundler. And honoring U.S. Army Special 4, Raymond George Massey. That would be the Community Emergency Response Team. CERT, we were mentioning them before. It's an all-volunteer squad. They do what they can, when they can, to assist the community in emergency situations, helping with logistic support, whether that be planning, strategizing, giving people rides, providing shelter where needed, providing food and water where needed. It's community members giving back to the community in an active way. If you're looking to do something like that, if you find yourself with a desire to give back in a very direct and ground level way, they are a volunteer force. You can join CERT. You can be a part of this. You can help out. These are your neighbors and your friends right here in West Hartford, taking it upon themselves. Now, coming down the lane is TK Property Services with a 20-foot trailer, has side rails to house the band Ripcord. Ripcord is the 102nd Division Army Band of the Connecticut Army National Guard. This is them right here. Now we're getting to hear some of their music, which is phenomenal and fantastic. If you don't know Ripcord, you're missing out. Go Google them and figure that out. Do yourself that favor. The rain is stopping the live performance, but that didn't stop them from boarding the truck. Here they are. We're still hearing their music. You can see their instruments. They were ready to go. Their instruments are under the tarp there. I see the keyboardist. He still has his hands there. He wants to play so bad. Google them. Find out about Ripcord. It's the 102nd Army Band of the Connecticut National Guard. They're pretty awesome. They're here every year. I've heard them. They go nuts. They're great. Ladies and gentlemen, aside from a little bit of wetness out here, I'd say this is a phenomenal parade. We've reached the end of it. And folks, the crowd didn't thin. I don't know if you can see, these trucks are kind of in the way right now, but people parked up. They put their lawn chairs out and they sat here and they enjoyed. If they needed an umbrella, you know what they did? They popped one out and they stayed here and they enjoyed the festivities. Gotta love that Weehaw spirit. That's all she wrote right there. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the 2024 West Hartford Memorial Day Parade. You're watching WHCI, and we thank you so much for that. Again, if you want to hit that subscribe button down at the bottom of the video, you hit that button. You can come back to this video anytime and watch it. You can watch last year's. You can watch the year before that. You can check out all the things that we do here on West Hartford Community Interactive. That being high school sports, that being town events. Celebrate West Hartford's coming up in a couple of weeks. We'll definitely see you there. Hey, West Hartford, stay lovely. We love you. My name's Chris Prentice. Have a great Memorial Day.
Memorial Day is not the day to thank veterans for their service. It's a day where we pause to honor and remember those who sacrificed their lives while serving in the military or after a lifetime of service. is a day to acknowledge the courage and sacrifice of those who have died and given the ultimate price to their country. Memorial Day should be a time to reflect on the price of freedom and what it means to live up to the values those who died fought for. Values such as freedom of speech or to vote, or the right to an education regardless of gender, religion, or skin color. Memorial Day is also a day to thank those families who have an empty chair during the holidays, at graduations or cookouts, because they lost a loved one whose ultimate sacrifice defending our freedoms has left an empty chair and a hole in their hearts. Memorial Day, formerly known as Decoration Day, started in 1868 during the American Civil War, when citizens placed flowers on the graves of those who had been killed in battle. During the Civil War, 620,000 Americans, or 2% of the US population, lost their lives in the line of duty fighting for what they believed in. But 100 years before that, there was a young boy in 1775. He was born in Coventry, Connecticut, and his name was Nathan Hale. When he was 14 years old, he went to the Yale College, joining his older brother there. Nathan graduated in honors in 1773 at 18 years old after being in the Linnean Society, which debated topics such as astronomy, math, literature, and the ethics of slavery. He became a teacher upon graduation, but then a letter from a friend and classmate encouraged him that his services were needed as a patriot in the Continental Army during the American Revolution. The letter told him that he was needed to defend the Constitution. In 1775, Nathan joined the 7th Connecticut Regiment, a militia unit, and he was promoted to first lieutenant in 5 months. General George Washington was trying to hold New York City at the time from being overrun by the British, who had already taken control of Long Island. General Washington called for a spy to do intelligence gathering behind enemy lines, and Nathan was the only volunteer to raise his hand to be a spy and to try to blend in with the enemy. He pretended to be a Dutch teacher from Holland looking for a job. He kept his name and on his graduation Yale papers, so he didn't do such a great job at disguising who he was. This was the first organized intelligence service in the United States of America. It was the spring of 1776, and Nathan's mission was to understand how the British were trying to invade Manhattan and to learn about the troop movements. He was captured by the British and was to be executed, which was the punishment for spying and for acting as an illegal combatant in those times. His last words were reported as, "I only regret that I have but one life to lose for my country." Nathan Hale is considered an American hero. In 1985, he became the official designated state hero of Connecticut. He was just 21 when he was executed by hanging for spying on the British. Captain Hale actually was reported to have been calm and bore a gentle dignity before his death. He supposedly made a longer, spirited speech before his execution, and he told the British they were shedding the blood of the innocent, and that if he had 10,000 lives, he would lay them all down if called to it, in defense of his injured and bleeding country. He was a Connecticut native who answered the call and gave the ultimate sacrifice to our country in its fight for independence from the British. He is not forgotten. Jumping ahead, after World War I, Decoration Day came to be observed in honor of those who died in all the U.S. wars, not just the Civil War. And the name changed from Decoration Day to Memorial Day. The world wars combined saw over 520,000 American fatalities. Since then, we have seen more lost lives in Korea, Vietnam, Somalia, Beirut, Iraq, Afghanistan, and many other conflicts. Often Americans wonder why we go to battle and fight in foreign countries, but we do it to answer the calls for help. Brave and selfless Americans go to help others who want freedom. Often this weekend, Americans think of barbecues or that school is out or it's summer vacations coming up. But today at 3 p.m., I want you to think of Nathan Hale and all the other men and women who gave their lives for the cause of freedom. And I want you to honor their decisions to stand up for freedom with a moment of silence. At this time, I'd like to call Lieutenant Colonel Sean Nolan, U.S. Army Reserve, for our invocation.
Thank you, Miss Mooney. Please join me in an attitude of reverence. Father, you have declared in your word that a person can show no greater love than that they lay down their life for their friends. Today we seek to honor the memory of our countrymen who have died in service so that others may live in freedom. Men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice. May they be at peace, and we ask you to bring comfort to their loved ones. For those still living, we ask your continued protection and that you lead us to live our lives in a way that honors and remembers those who have laid so costly a sacrifice upon the altar of freedom. And we ask and pray all these things in the mighty name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Nolan. At this time, I would like to call forward Delia Canary from Conard High School to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Delia. Commander of the Guards, please put your units at ease. I'd like to take a moment to thank the many members of our community who serve our state on the state legislature, our town council, and the Board of Education. I'd also like to recognize Ben Cooper, a local World War II combat medic who helped to liberate Dachau concentration camp. We thank you, Ben, for being here today. Lastly, thank you to Renee, who I think is out in the hall, for all of her parade safety officers and efforts today to coordinate everything to do with the parade and also our ceremony. On behalf of Hayes Village Post 96, we thank you all for being here today and for your service to our country, our state, and our community. This year marks the 102nd anniversary of the Hayes Village American Legion Post 96. The American Legion is the world's largest veteran organization, and for over 100 years, our post has strived to fulfill the mission of the 4 pillars of the American Legion: strong national security, caring for our veterans, mentoring our youth, and partnering to promote patriotism and honor, otherwise known as fostering Americanism. As we serve West Hartford veterans and youth, we want to provide an invitation to all veterans to come and join us and support our town and our community to the future. There are also no time limits anymore to join the post, so even if you served one day, you could be welcome to join any Legion post. We are very honored this year to welcome Colonel Michael Cabre, U.S. Army retired, as the Grand Marshal of both our parade and also our ceremony. In today's program, page 2 and 3, you will find the Colonel's bio, and I'm going to read it really quickly, although I'm sure Colonel Cabré would wish that I didn't. Mike Cabré served as the Dean of Administration in the College of International Security Affairs from June of 2017 to June of 2019. He is a retired U.S. Army colonel with 30 years of service, retiring from service duty in June of 2016. Prior to assuming his role as the Dean of Administration, Mr. Cabré served as the Academic Program Manager, Senior Advisor to the Provost of the National Defense University from May of 2016 to May of 2017. In the last 2 years of active service, he was the Chief of Staff to the Provost at NDU. Commissioned in May of 1986 from the United States Military Academy at West Point, he served in a variety of artillery positions, leading and commanding the platoon through brigade level. From 2003 to 4, he commanded and led over 750 soldiers in direct combat operations in Ramadi, Iraq. He served in numerous operations and planning staff positions from battalion to corps level. He is a graduate of the Command and General Staff College and the School of Advanced Military Studies program. He also attended Senior Service College in the SAMS Advanced Operational Arts Fellowship. He has spent time as a senior observer trainer in the Battle Command Training Program and also an operations group commander in BTCP. He served as the assistant commandant of the U.S. Army Field Artillery School. Before being assigned to the National Defense University, he served as Chief of Staff for the Director Joint Force Development J7 in the Pentagon. While serving in the Army, he earned the Combat Action Badge, Parachutist Badge, Air Assault Badge, the Ranger Tab, and holds 2 master's degree in Advanced Military Studies and International Relations. He is married to the former Catherine Moss, and they have 3 children, a son who has served as a captain in the U.S. Army, a daughter who has served in lieutenant in the U.S. Navy, and a daughter who's a nurse practitioner at Johns Hopkins and married to an Army captain. That's a lot. I'm very proud to be able to read that. What a great and distinguished career, and we're really happy to have you here today. So welcome to come on up and share some words.
Thank you very much. All right. So common themes, your hill. But first, Senator Slapp, thank you for being here. Madam Mayor, thank you for the invite to do this, and to all the council, Board of Education members, and to American Legion Post 96. Heidi, thank you very much. I'm honored and humbled to be able to share this day with you. It is a special day for those in the military. It's a special day for all in America. To be honest, I'd like to have been here in uniform to give this presentation, but when I retired, my wife decided that closet space was something to be valued, so they were all turned into dog pillows and aprons and those kind of things, repurposed. So I'm good with this. I'm very happy to see so many that came out to support this event in the military, not just here in this room today, but along the entire parade route. What a great thing. And as you've heard earlier, that the origins of this day, this holiday began right after the Civil War and after World War I and other conflicts, we found ourselves in the loss of a lot of our country's blood and treasure. And we went from commemorating the loss of just Union soldiers, which is what it started out as, to the loss of many more brave women and men. I did a little research and learned that there's a Civil War monument here in West Hartford in the old North Cemetery in honor of the names of fallen soldiers who were never brought back from the battlefield. And on the back of the monument, there's 3 lines of poetry that convey the idea of Memorial Day much more eloquently than I can. And I'm going to read those. On fame's eternal camping ground, their silent tents are spread, and glory guards with solemn round the bivouac of the dead. Now, as a battalion commander in Iraq, I did lose soldiers in my unit. And it was there that probably Memorial Day became so ingrained in me that it was more than just the beginning of summer. In the military, we hold a memorial service for every fallen service member. We would hold one on our camps, deployed, and it was to help bring closure to the fellow service members, brothers and sisters in arms. And then back home, there would be another service that was held primarily to give the families a chance to pay last respects and closure for the loved ones as part of a military tradition. In each instance, members of that service member's chain of command stand up in front of the gathering and speak to the character, accomplishment, and camaraderie of that fallen member. It is a time to remember the good things about the service members. The tradition of reading the names of the unit members and calling out the fallen soldier's name several times, followed by the crack of 7 rifles, firing 3 rounds each, and finally the sorrowful sounding of taps by the bugle, invoke the harrowing reality that a treasured son or daughter has reported for duty as at their final post. It is a somber occasion, but it does bring a sense of closure to both the unit and the family. As Americans, it's important to remember that those who made the ultimate sacrifice paid the ultimate price, but know that those service members were laid to rest with honor, tradition, tears, and hugs of brothers and sisters and family. Celebrating Memorial Day is a great tradition, if only for the chance for all of us to give thought to why we observe this day. To close, remember Veterans Day is to thank them for their service. Memorial Day is to recognize the price some paid in that service. And I wish you all a thoughtful Memorial Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Cabray. Next, we are so lucky to have a West Hartford resident, Zonder Boss, to play a special violin solo for you all. Zonder is a junior at Xavier High School and is working toward Eagle Scout. Thank you, Zonder. I had to show off the talent of one of my scouts because I've heard him play a lot and it's always amazing. Thanks to his parents, who I know put a lot of effort and time into his lessons. We are also fortunate to have another West Hartford resident here today who will share his thoughts, our very own Connecticut State Senator, Derek Slapp. Senator Slapp works tirelessly for our community and the state. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Derek Slapp.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I think it's or good morning still, I guess. I'm joined by my colleague in the legislature, State Representative Kate Farrar, who's going to offer a few words as well. I first just, of course, want to thank our veterans, especially those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. And also, everybody here who is in service, our first responders, and everybody who works to make our town better. I know our great Mayor Sherry Cantor is here, and she's going to acknowledge the members of the Board of Education and the Town Council as well when she speaks in just a few minutes. I wanted to remark on a few days ago, I read an article about, I think, probably the coolest commencement speech I've ever heard about. Some of you may have read about this. It was given by this gentleman who's a billionaire businessman, and I think it was at UMass Dartmouth. And so what he did is, after he made his speech, and now nobody remembers what he what he specifically said in the speech, but he brought up 2 duffel bags full of cash. Does anybody, have you heard about this? All right, it's very cool. And so this is, again, at UMass Dartmouth, just like a week or so ago. And what he told the graduates, he says, is as you come up on stage, I'm going to give every single one of you $1,000 in cash. He pulled it out of his bag and he handed it. And he said, $500 is for you to keep. And the other 500 is for you to pay it forward, right? To give to some charity, some organization, somebody who needs it, and something that's going to improve our community. So I immediately started thinking what I would do with $500, right? Both what I would do with keeping it, but also, more importantly, what I would do giving it away. And I read this going into Memorial Day weekend. And I thought, this is exactly what our veterans, and especially, right, ones who have sacrificed, paid the ultimate price, what they have given to all of us, right? Metaphorically, it's that $1,000. And what's so important about events and days like this is to remind us all of what they have given us. I've read that about every 3 generations, people start to forget about things that have happened in our history, right? Whether it be certain wars, Holocaust, or things that are critically important for us to always remember. I think, well, what about what our veterans have given us and why we need to continually teach new generations, right? About that metaphorically, that $1,000. You have 500, which is essentially the freedom that we get to enjoy, the freedom of speech that Heidi mentioned, and all the freedom and just even the beautiful rain, everything that we're experiencing, right? But then you have that other $500 that the veterans have given you in your pocket, and it's not yours to keep. It's yours to do something with, right? To improve society in some way. It's not enough just to vote. It's not enough just to pay your taxes, right? We all hate to do that, but we have to anyway. But what are we going to do to make our society better? And that, I think, is really the best way that we can honor our veterans and the sacrifices that they made. So when you leave here today, I wish I could give each of you $1,000. I'm just but a poor civil servant, right? State senator. So I may not have it, but think about maybe $500. Again, the metaphor that you have, not yours, and what you're going to do in the name of our veterans. So thank you again for your service. I'm so grateful for it and really, really touched that I can share this day with all of you. Thank you. State Representative.
Thank you. Good morning, friends. I am pleased to be here with my dear legislative colleague, State Senator Slapp, but even more pleased that we can share in this tradition together. I can't help but see the beautiful ribbon on this wreath in front of us saying just simply, we remember. We remember. And I'm struck by that because when I think about what I've learned about this holiday of Memorial Day, it was first Decoration Day because it was the women, the wives of the soldiers who wanted to honor their husbands and went to the graves to honor them and to decorate those graves and make sure they were remembered. And it was because of those women that gathered that this day became such a tradition in communities across our country. And that's why when we remember, we don't just remember the individuals who sacrificed so much, but we remember those family members who every day, this is a day when they have to recognize, when we can support them in recognizing that their family member really took on that freedom, that cry for freedom in our country as a responsibility that we all have to bear as well. So I really take with me, and I know all of us take with us today, this solemn commitment to remember. And again, not just to remember those who have fallen, but to remember those family members that honor that sacrifice every day. Thank you so much for joining together and for all that we can do to remember and to hold that freedom loud and clear in everything we do in our community. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you, Derek and Kate, for your leadership. West Hartford has a wonderful leader in our own Mayor, Sherry Cantor. She began her leadership role as mayor in 2016 and has led our community through many changes. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Cantor.
Thank you, Heidi Ann, and I'm so grateful for your leadership, your coordination and organization of this event, and it's really become such a strong tradition for so many. Many people the room is filled, but there's a lot of people that are watching on our public access television. My mother is one of them. She is going to be 96 this summer, and with the rain and her hearing aids, it's a little challenging. So, hi, Mom. It is a beautiful way to celebrate and honor when we bring people together with the weight and the understanding of what this day is. And again, it takes so much, and Heidi Ann was instrumental in bringing us all together. Thank you to Sean Nolan for reading the invocation. Delia, the beautiful voice that you shared with us, thank you for that. Michael, we'll welcome you into our community, and we're so grateful and impressed by your remarkable history and your full bio. But I know you were a little, you're like, stop. But we really appreciate hearing all of your service to the community and your complete family's service to our country. We're just so grateful for all of your family's service. And of course, Zander, for your beautiful music. I want to thank our honor guard here, the police, the fire department that are here that participated in our service, and of course the elected officials that are in the room. And we have many of them that are in the room. I'm just going to have, I don't know, most people were marching in the parade. I don't know if everybody finished and walked because I had to turn around because I was with my granddaughter who had it by that end. But Dr. Lorna Thomas Ferguson, Shannon Merriman, Claire Nessarella, Latoya is also, I think, here. Dr. Gail Harris, Ethan Goldman, and Jason Gagnon from our Board of Education. I just want to make sure that I recognize our Deputy Mayor Ben Winograd, and there's Councilors Carol Blanks, Alberto Cortez, and Mary Fay, Tiffany McGinnis, Deb Poland, Barry Walters, and Mark Sedanowitz, and I'm not sure again who's actually finished the parade and who hasn't. So I appreciate all of your being here and all of your service to the community. I want to also recognize Renee McHugh. She was mentioned. Renee organizes everything. She's our communication specialist. She really runs so much of what happens behind the scenes and pulls all together. It might seem that things are done in a very organized and seamless way, but sometimes other things happen, and it becomes very, very challenging. So we really, really appreciate all that she does. I also wanted to give a special shout out to some of the people in the room. Jeff Cole is here, but a dear friend of mine and someone that has changed my life is Ben Cooper. Ben, as you heard, liberated Dachau. He is a Jewish war veteran, and nobody has seen horrors of humanity like Ben, yet he has the biggest heart and is so giving of himself and his message and his lessons of life with everybody he meets. And that is so beautiful and so meaningful. And if everybody could bring a little piece of Ben with them and share that humanity and carry what the weight of this day is, the ultimate sacrifice to keep our country free, that would make our world a better place for sure. But it is such an honor and a privilege to stand before you today as the mayor of this wonderful community that has recognized for years and years the importance of Memorial Day. And I am sorry that we could not be at the Veterans Memorial. A Veterans Commission thoughtfully designed, took years to design a memorial that represents all of the conflicts throughout our history and the broken circle that encompasses those conflicts. And personally, there's a brick for my grandfather who served in World War I, and my dad, who's a World War II veteran, are bricks on that memorial. And I also have a nephew who just returned from the Air Force from the Middle East. And so it's very meaningful to have those markers and that representation of the conflicts and the many people that we have lost, even in this community, but we remember. So this day holds a special place in our hearts as we gather together and remember the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice while serving our country. And as we've heard today with these very important messages that you heard from our Senator Slapp and from Representative and our representative, this is not a day off from work. It's and not a day of barbecues and picnics. It's a solemn occasion that reminds us of the sacrifices made by servicemen and women who put their lives on the line for the freedoms that we hold so dear. It's a day to reflect on the true meaning of patriotism, and that means different things to everybody, and there is not one definition. And to pay tribute to people who and the families of the people who gave their all. So as we gather at the memorial and we think about the ultimate sacrifice and we honor the courage, the dedication, the selflessness, we remember the mothers, the fathers, the sisters, the brothers, the daughters who have left behind grieving family and friends. We think of that so much. A few weeks ago, I read a book called The Women. I don't know if anybody's read it. It's by Kristen Hanna. She's a award-winning author. And it's a very unique, it's fiction, but it's based on reality. And what struck me is the feedback on the book from Vietnam veterans and people that have lost their lives and been impacted by the Vietnam War, how accurate her stories are of the many people. But her perspective was the women nurses. And so many, the women were not considered actually as serving. People really didn't think when they were marching and they were honoring women, even at the Vietnam Memorial, when they would look at a woman, they would actually say, you didn't serve, you happened to be there, but you weren't in service, because the draft was for men. It wasn't for women. But there were many women that stepped into combat and saw combat. There were not a lot of women killed in combat in the Vietnam War, but they saved so many lives, and they also sat with so many soldiers whose lives they took their last breath, and they were the humanity and the comfort and the partnership that they saw before those people passed. It's a very powerful book, and I really encourage anyone who wants to read it, because it shows the responsibility of being with people that are in such a dire situation, and that strength of character to help them through those very, very difficult times. Today, as we express our gratitude to the men and the women serving in our armed forces, they continue to protect and defend our nation currently, right now, all over the world. And as I really struck me, all the speakers, but Derek Slapp, your $500, that's one of the visuals that I really want you to remember as you carry on today, is that none of the sacrifices, the worst thing that we could do is to not honor those sacrifices and to live in the most uplifting way to make our world a better place, to make our country a better place. Their legacy is lasting on the community when you do moments of patriotism, when you do moments of humanity, when you do moments of service. That's what this is all about. That's selflessness and commitment to a cause greater than the people that lost their lives and greater than all of us. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. Your presence is really a testimony to the importance of this day, to the gratitude that we have to the fallen heroes, not just on Memorial Day, but hopefully every day. We lost a community member who was very active in our veteran community, Ken Hungerford, last week. And Ken brought understanding to his, I think he has six daughters, I think. What Ken did was he always talked about his service and connected people to the importance of service. And he is remembered and thought of by all of us today. And so I want to leave you with this quote: "To live in hearts we leave behind is not to die." So as long as we remember those people that are lost, they're not completely gone. And that's really important. So may God bless our fallen heroes, their families, and our great nation and our community. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mayor Cantor. I'd like to thank our American Legion Auxiliary members for their efforts in sharing red poppies and flags with our town to keep this important tradition alive and to teach the next generation about this time-honored World War II tradition. Poppies help keep our attention on the most important aspect of this holiday. The auxiliary members give away poppies and flags to represent the ultimate sacrifice of our fallen soldiers. It's important to teach our younger generations our country's history and traditions, like that the 13 stripes on our flag represent the original 13 colonies that Nathan Hale fought for, and that the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The colors of the flag are symbolic as well. Red symbolizes hardiness, valor, courage, readiness to sacrifice. For veterans, it often also represents the blood shed by those who have fought alongside us to protect our freedom and our country. White symbolizes purity and innocence. Pure because we are independent from other countries and we hold true to our ideals. Blue represents justice, vigilance, perseverance for all, a reminder that we must remain strong and watchful. To veterans, the Stars and Stripe embodies the very qualities that make our nation great: liberty, justice, freedom, and love of country. It also means welcome home to many of us who have fought in foreign lands. Another tradition is the ceremonial laying of a wreath at grave sites or memorials and is practiced around the world. Heads of state, U.S. presidents, and veterans honor departed members of the armed forces or society by laying a wreath of flowers at sites to remember those we have lost. At this time, I would like to ask Eagle Scout Jacob Mooney to please come forward as the memorial wreath is presented. Jacob is a junior at Penn Foster, an online high school program out of Pennsylvania. Thank you, Jacob. Today at 3 p.m., the sound of taps should be heard in towns and cities across our nation. This is to remind us, as we share the day with family and friends, to pause for a moment to remember all who answered the call of our nation and the call where they gave all they had for us. In your program on pages 4 and 5 are names that exemplify valor and honor, and who died committing brave or selfless acts, many times at which no one saw or bear witness to them. The names are those who have died in our town since last May's celebration. Names who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Names who will miss red tissue poppies on Memorial Day. There is a true cost to war that we must remember. Today, I remember many amazing men and women I served with who aren't here today. I keep their names on a list in my Bible. Young faces who I can see in my mind, and I wonder what they'd be doing today if they were here, and if they had not sacrificed all. Voices that if we listen in this room, we'd slow down our lives and listen quietly, we might hear their whispers. I'd like to now invite Lieutenant Colonel Sean Nolan up for a closing prayer, And then we'll be hearing from Zonder, who will play taps.
Thank you, Ms. Mooney. Please join me in prayer. Father in heaven, in your word you describe a group of people who did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death. Today we remember men and women from the history of our nation who could also be described this way. Lord, show us all how to rightly value human life and give each of us the wisdom to recognize when what we have an opportunity to defend is worth defending, even unto death. We ask you to continue to shed your grace upon this beautiful country. And finally, we ask, Lord, long may our land be bright with freedom's holy light. Protect us by thy might, great God, our King. Amen.
Commander of the Guards, please call your units to attention and present arms. The talented Zonder boss, who you heard from earlier today, will close our ceremony by sounding taps. Thank you for your attention today. When he is done playing, please enjoy your day and think of those Americans who gave their all so that you can enjoy living in a free country. After Zonder plays, we just ask that you leave quietly in memorial of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice to our country. God bless.
Present.